Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a StarCraft 2 self-cast. This is actually one of my own games that I'm putting up. I'm going to go ahead and spawn up here at the top side of this map in red. And down here at the bottom side of this map we have another Protoss player as my opponent, Caetus from Clan Magnum, with a pretty cool little clan logo there. So, got that going for him. He's going to go ahead and run his probe around in circles a bunch before putting down that pylon. Looks like he left a little bit early to place it. Have my pylon going out pretty well in the same place, and our scouts are both going to head out across the map. Caetus is going to go ahead and chrono boost his probes out as he should, and looks like sent it out a little bit too early to build that gateway. He has a probe here to scout my base as I build my gateway. I'm going to go ahead and follow him around. And I have a probe in here to scout his base. Really love scouting Protoss because you can just use the patrol command and you can scout them forever. You can scout them really until they have a mothership core or a stalker, which is a good amount of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and run around this base. His scout has already left my base. I'm going to go ahead and check around my base for additional proxy pylons. I do feel like at this point my scouting abilities are decently well developed, so I am pretty proud of that. Gateway's going to go ahead and come on up. And I send out my probe a little bit late for that cyber core, but only just a little bit. See his cyber core coming up. See, he has gas. Nothing too unusual going on for either of us. I do get supply blocked for a little bit here. Oh, it's embarrassing. That pylon is almost done, and it looks like it's not going to block this next probe from building for too long, just a few seconds. And mining gas, getting ready to research that warp gate and get my first stalker out. Still able to scout my opponent, by the way, because he only just got his cyber core up. I do see him building this mothership core, which actually is a big trigger that either he's going to try and macro up, or that he's going to play sort of offensively and use that in an attack. I am able to recover my scouting probe. I have my cyber core researching that warp gate, pylon going down. Another gas starting to mine. This base pretty well saturated. Scouting probe heading on back. Followed very closely by their Caetus' mothership core and a stalker, who are coming on up to see if they can give me a little bit of pressure here. This is actually a pretty fragile time for Protoss because you don't have too many units, so even just a thing or two is really hard to fend off sometimes. And of course I see this stalker coming up here as I cancel the pylon. Alright, cool. Adding on another gateway. Getting that other stalker. Gonna go ahead and get a mothership core of my own. And my two stalker versus their one with a mothership core does force them to back up a little bit, although Caetus has an extra stalker here. Forces me to back up. There's going to be a little bit of this for a while. There's some attacking going on. One stalker goes down, another stalker is about to pop out of this gateway. I think there's a scary moment here where I just don't have any units and he's killing my things. Go ahead and take a few pot shots. Gonna fire down this mothership core. So now it's mothership core stalker versus two stalkers, which makes things a little bit more even. Just finishing up this warp gate research and creating my first warp gate. So I should be able to reinforce this pretty well. And these stalkers head out. So that's that early pressure. Now looking at this, I'm actually pretty proud of it, because while I did build this mothership core, I did actually have a couple extra probes building. Over here you can see that he also had some extra probes building, although he doesn't have the second gas here, so it is a little bit sort of off if you just compare the number of probes mining here to the number that I have mining. additional pylons are going down. I'm actually checking around for a proxy of some kind in case he wants to continue that early pressure that he was showing us he was capable of earlier. We have some stalkers here at the front as he takes his expansion. I'm being a bit more cautious about expanding because I am worried that there's going to be an additional attack. But having seen nothing with my scouting, I can go ahead and move that probe out to build a forward pylon and a nexus. My money is getting a bit high. I do rush to spend it, adding on 2 additional warp gates and this robo in case of any cheesy nonsense like, say, DTs. More units being warped in. I'm gonna go ahead and get my Twilight Council. And Caetus, pretty well like me, just content to sit back and macro at this point. Looks like he has 3 gates and a 4th on the way, so I do have more structures total as far as unit producing structures. His nexus is going to finish a bit before mine, though. Waiting for my gateways to come up so that I can get more stuff. And here's the immediate observer, very much for fear of those awful DTs coming in and messing with my base without detection, although this is a really great tool for scouting. So, those of you who are wondering, sending an observer into your enemy's base is pretty great. See all of this. You can see that he is actually at an advantage as far as food. If we look at the army supply here, you can see that it is favoring him a bit, although both the army supply and the worker count are favoring Caetus a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and send that observer out. This base is becoming saturated, making more probes, macroing up. As a Protoss player, I think especially, it feels really good to just macro yourself up and build those more advanced units. Get that research done. You can see that I'm researching charge here because zealots with charge are just way, way, way better. And Caetus is going to go ahead and make a robo, which just finished, it looked like. I'm going to see all of this, including seeing this army move away from the base, which is a pretty strong signal that bad things are about to happen to you. Maybe not bad, but just things are about to happen to you. Things are not necessarily always good, and in the case of armies attacking you, definitely not good. I do warp in some additional units here. Try and get a favorable position. I think that this is really the clutch moment here, this time warp going down. We had roughly an equal army supply. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up, and that is going to go ahead and drop off for Caetus, both of us killing off each other's mothership cores, although his own time warp came out much later. Didn't hit quite as many of my things. A little bit of a shield from my sentry here. A few units struggling to go ahead and get in range with other units, but that's alright. Looks like this engagement really did go my way, and I think that this is pretty well the turning point for this game. Off my army goes for a nice counterattack. And you can see if you look at the army supply that at this point it is very strongly favoring me. I am pleased that I did, I believe I kept building probes for some time. There we go. There we go. Don't make me a liar, self. That's right. Gonna go ahead and scout this third. Find there is a third up, although there are no probes mining, and there's really no reason to let this live. So that's gonna get taken out. Caetus more than content to let me do that, since that does give him extra time to beef up his own army at the top of the ramp. Another little shield going off here. Force field from him, although that is fine because these have range, so it doesn't hurt me as much as it might, although you can see that a number of these stalkers are not able to quite get up the ramp to hit things. Really do need to work on microing my front row forward a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that he doesn't get any pod shots off on me as I head on over here to kill steal as many of these probes as possible. You can see that money for both of us is incredibly high. I believe both of us are focusing on all of this happening right here. And this, I think, is the key. I put down a warp prism so that I can warp in right in his base so that they can have to walk all the way across the map, allowing me to continuously apply pressure. I'm going to go ahead and kill this off. And I can see at the top of the ramp because of these nice observers here. And I think it's really interesting to notice I did manage to build these geysers back at home while this was going on, but it took me a long time to actually transfer things to them, so I was not mining from them. I was desperately short on gas. Had to make zealots who couldn't quite get through my nice line of stalkers here, which is silly. But this pressure is continued here with this nice warp prism. Kind of a scary moment here, fighting up versus these stalkers, and then I finally have enough to look into more. I think from this point on, it's really telling that I don't macro nearly as well when I'm doing things like this. I still haven't transferred those probes to gas, even though I definitely should probably go ahead and expand since I have all this money and my minerals in my main are being mined out, not making things from this, which means that I really need to hotkey it better. I definitely need to work on my hotkeys just for my army. Usually I just hotkey sort of special units, things like Phoenix's, High Templar, sometimes Sentries, but not often. I think this is the moment where I realize that I need to move up the ramp in order to allow my units to attack. At this point, it's mostly probes versus my actual army units. There's the GG from my opponent, and that's a game. So thank you for watching. If you guys want to send me your replays to have them cast on my channel, you can send them to NoobCrafted@gmail.com. Just as a quick note for anyone who has not seen some of my other recent casts, I do know another caster who at the end of this month, on June 28th, will be having a tournament. That is a Zuka Man Summer Tournament. All you need to do to be in that tournament is to go ahead and send Zuka an email at zukaman900@gmail.com. Tell him your race and your league and your account name, and you will be in, and you will be able to play in your own little tournament and meet new people and have fun, and it should be great, so do it, yeah. In any case, thank you for watching my very silly gold level game, and I'll talk to you later.